Good morning, my friends. Welcome to our New Testament challenge. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some thoughts from the 15th chapter of the book of 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. So Paul continues to speak to specific concerns and situations at the church in Corinth. And we've got to remember that the church there, more so than many of our churches, was just a true mixture of the culture of that time. You had faithful Jews who had grown up and who understood the background of the Jewish Messiah of Christ. You had total pagans. You had atheists. You had agnostics. You had believers in all different types of religions and idols. You had the rich and you had the poor. You had people from multiple cultures and ethnicities, and it was just a mess. It was a hot mess. All sorts of stuff in there. And so part of what he's having to do in this letter is address issues that we wouldn't think about unless you had this type of mixture. And so here in chapter 15, he goes back over the basics. He said, this is what we proclaim to you. This is what I received. Jesus crucified, resurrected. This is what I received. This is what we believe. I handed on to you. This is, and he kind of gives some proof. He says he appeared to Peter and the 12, and then to others, and then finally to me. Just want to show you that I know what I'm talking about. And then he continues on and he says, now, if we talk about Jesus as being, we talk about his resurrection as being the source of the power that we have as Christians, then for those of you who say there is no resurrection, and now this goes back, some of this goes back to the Sadducees and the Jewish hierarchy. They believed there was no resurrection. And so there's still some of that floating around and messing things up. And people, are saying, well, there's no resurrection. Then what do we talk about with Christ? He was raised from the dead. And so Paul kind of goes off on a tangent here, talking, talking and says, okay, I want to take your point of view to its logical or illogical extreme. If there is no resurrection of the dead, if Jesus did not rise from the dead, then we're toast. This is what would happen. This is how people would respond. And we would not have the power that we have. We would not have the hope that we have. Something had to happen to the sin that we committed. Somebody was going to pay. And this is not, God isn't, make them pay. No, it's just the very nature of sin. We committed the sin. We committed the fault, the crime, and then somebody has to pay for it. Somebody has to respond to it. And Jesus has done that on our behalf. And so has allowed us to wipe that away, the consequences away, so that we can enter into the true relationship with God through Christ. And so the resurrected Christ is the way we do that. And so he goes on and talks about that the whole chapter. And, Paul's obviously irritated here. But we just need to remember that I like the first part of 15. He says, I pass on to you what I have received. And so every pastor I know, that is our goal. We pass on to you what we ourselves have received. What we know and what we believe, we pass on to you so that you can pass on to others, to your children, to your families, to your friends, that you can pass on this life-giving message of the resurrection of Christ. Hope this has been helpful, my friends. Take care, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.